Honorable Senators, I rise today to speak to second reading of my bill S-211, an act to establish International Mother Language Day. The day would be February 21st. This bill is in recognition of International Mother Language Day. For greater certainty, International Mother Language Day is not a legal holiday or a non-jurisdictional day. This is yet another time I have tabled this bill, Honorable Senators. The last time it was referred to the Social Committee. Honorable Senators, I want to begin by saying that this bill is important to many of us. Mother language identifies us. It gives us a grounding. I want to share with you that my grandchildren, unfortunately, do not speak our mother language as well as we would like. But often at the dinner table, our 7-year-old, when she is emotionally trying to express something, she will use our mother language. And it really touches us all that the best way she can express how she feels about many things is in her mother language. This bill will formally recognize International Mother Language Day, and it will wholeheartedly align with Canada's strongest values of inclusion, openness, equity, and respect for all people. One young person whose story helps to remind us all of the great privilege and responsibility of being a Canadian senator who supports language diversity is that of Hiba. Hiba now is in her late 20s. She immigrated to Canada from Bangladesh in 1992. When asked about what Bill 211, S-211 meant to her, Hiba shared her perspective on multilingualism as her own cultural identity. She said, and I quote, "It is incredibly important for me to communicate in my Bengali mother tongue with my family. During my time at university, I always had German and French roommates and would seize the opportunity to practice with them. I have noticed people highly appreciate it when I make the effort to talk to them in their first language. My friends light up when I speak to them in Bengali, Nepali, Hindi, and Spanish. I also speak perfect English and French. Learning new languages runs in my family, as my father speaks Italian and Mandarin, and my mother is also fluent in German. I'm incredibly proud to speak Bengali, my mother language. I took Bengali classes at university to learn how to read more academic pieces of writing like poetry. Bangladesh has given me so much in terms of culture, and I would absolutely want my own children to speak my mother tongue of Bengali on top of many other languages. It is very difficult of me to attach myself to one language. I am more than one language, and so are a lot of Canadians. This is what it means to be a Canadian." Close quotations. International Mother Language Day, February 21st, is one day dedicated to celebrating mother languages while also remarking on the value and importance of being able to freely, openly, and proudly communicate in the mother language of one's free choosing. International Mother Language Day was first established in November 1999 by a unanimous vote at the 30th General Conference of the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. The declaration was seen to be part of a broader international strategy to promote the preservation and protection of all languages used by peoples of the world. This United Nations Resolution 56-262 was finalized in 2002 and internationally established International Mother Language Day on February 15th. The resolution is also a symbol of commemoration and promotion of linguistic and cultural diversity, as well as multiculturalism and all mother languages. Ever since global celebrations have occurred on February 21st of each year, at its heart, this bill is one way to honor and recognize the Canadians from coast to coast to coast who proudly speak their mother tongues, which amount to over 200 languages, from Spanish to Gujarati to Punjabi to Tagalog, and many others. In Vancouver alone, over half of all our school-age children are learning another language besides French and English. Similarly, 25% of Vancouverites report that their first language is neither French nor English. Additionally, in my home province of British Columbia is a home to more than half of Canada's Indigenous languages. Sadly, only 1 in 20 Indigenous peoples in the province are fluent in their language, and almost all of them are elders. As we all know, far too many Indigenous languages have disappeared. Every time a language disappears, a part of our nation's identity disappears. Despite the commendable efforts of the government to address this issue through Bill C-91, an act respecting Indigenous languages of 60 registered Indigenous languages, only 4 are currently considered safe from extinction. Honorable Senators, I know you will agree with me when I say this is unacceptable. To quote the Honorable Senator Cormier, the chair of the Senate Standing Committee on Official Languages, I quote, "This bill requires us to think about the major issues surrounding the disappearance, preservation, and reappropriation of Indigenous languages. Colonialism and the expansion of the Canadian state has devastating effects on Indigenous peoples. As the victims of residential schools, First Nations, Métis, and Inuit communities witness the decimation of their mother tongues and cultures by successive Canadian governments." Close quotations. In the 2011 census, over 60 Indigenous languages were reported, but only 14.5% of First Nations members still had Indigenous language as their mother tongue. In 2016, the number of Indigenous languages reported was more than 70. Over 33 of those languages were spoken by at least 500 individuals, while some were spoken by as few as 6 people. Honorable Senators, in no way does Bill S-211 aim to dispute that French and English are Canada's official languages, as guaranteed by the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. I know that recognition of the value of bilingualism forms the foundation of our great country, Canada. Canadian identity, past, present, and future. Bill S-211 supports bilingualism and of our rich and diverse multilingualism. This feels long overdue. Many Canadians speak a multitude of languages that enrich Canada's culture and the country on the whole. That is why International Mother Language Day, February 21st, it is a day to celebrate speaking your mother tongue with pride. It aims to amplify the rights of all Canadians to celebrate and showcase their own mother tongue. Regardless of our different backgrounds, all Canadian senators have a vested interest in being strong advocates of Canadian bilingualism as well as Canadian multilingualism. Establishes more formal recognition of multilingualism, and in fact, along with French and English, all Canadians' mother tongue languages are worthy of honor and celebration. As a young girl, I was raised to be proud of and still feel empowered when I speak in my mother tongue. It gives me grounding, and my language identifies who I am. As a mother and a grandmother, I carry forth this fight for recognition of all mother tongue languages to ensure that all young people, including my own grandchildren, know their mother language as part of their identity. Honorable Senators, with this Bill S-211, there is no clear recognition that of, that in our global pandemic posed by COVID-19, Canadians' need for connection with the understanding of one another should be deemed more important than ever. Perhaps more importantly, by officially recognizing Mother Language Day, we're expanding awareness and the way Canada and all members of our country think. Without question, languages are a strategy of national unity. They allow all people to build unique relationships with foundations of trust, understanding, and a history behind them. It is our grounding. It is our identity. Honorable Senators, I reach out to each and every one of you and say, support me on this bill of Mother Language Day. It is part of our Canadian value. Thank you very much, Senators.